You're tuned in to the DMV Hoops Podcast.
This is John the Scripter, head girls basketball coach at St. John's College High School, and this is the DMV Hoops Podcast.
Welcome to the DMV Hoops Podcast, the DMV's home for high school basketball. Hosted by Kurt Cross and featuring Chelsea Cross. We bring you the latest news, interviews, rankings, recruiting buzz, and standout performances from the public and private school basketball scene across Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Stream us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Buzzsprout, YouTube, and everywhere podcasts are heard. Now, let's get into it. Here's your host, Kurt Cross.
Welcome to the DMV Hoops Podcast. I'm Kurt Cross. She is
Chelsea Cross.
And you know what? We're as always, we're at the Morgan and Kathy Wooten Gymnasium, Capital Hoops Summer League at DeMatha. But I'm looking around, and before we get to our interview, I'm looking around at the best game there is. I'm just going to tell people what are in my head right now. I saw a youngin down there get up in the air to make a pass. You never do that. Damn near ended up with a turnover. I saw a kid make a mid-range jump shot. You don't see that much anymore. I see a woman coaching a man's varsity team over there. I see Ty, who's refereed more games than anyone I know. And it's a great time to be a basketball fan. We would like to welcome Coach Bob Haley from Southern Maryland Christian. Coach, how's it going, fella?
Good. Thanks for having me.
He is no stranger to the podcast.
Not at all. Not at all. How you guys doing today?
Cool. Let me ask you this. Does this ever get old?
No, it doesn't. It's a lifestyle. We love, as coaches, we love being around the game. And, at the end of the day, this is our life. Outside of our families, this is what we love to do. Ball is life.
Is ball life because of the game or because what it allows you to do with these young men, the lessons you can teach? Why is it life for you?
All of the above. So for me, I got into it to teach life skills. So for that reason alone, and to allow these kids, give them the opportunity to get to where, I humbly say this, get to where I was able to get to, being a Division I player and playing 7 years professionally overseas. So I want them to be able to get that opportunity. So that's why I teach it. That's why I try to give them that knowledge. But I also want the game of basketball to teach them life skills. So, that's for me, that's why it's life. Because a lot of things dealing with basketball translates over to real life.
And to be honest, for some of these young men, and on the women's side, the basketball stops bouncing when you graduate, and you got to prepare them for life. Not for 4 years in college, not for whatever they may do beyond college in terms of the sport, but you've got to teach these. You are the model that you may be the only model some of these young men have.
Sure.
You may be one of 100 models they have. But they're going to take a little bit of all of what they learn on this court and hopefully go out there in the world, be productive sons, brothers, friends, husbands, fathers, and beyond.
Absolutely.
So we have to make sure that we acknowledge the coaches, because it's more than just teaching the 84 by 50. You taught somebody how to shave somewhere along the way.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying? How to balance their budget, right? All of those things. Chelsea, your turn.
We're going to kind of get into some of your accolades and who you are as a coach. You were Coach of the Year in your conference. You won the championship 2 years in a row.
Yes.
And you've only been there for 3 seasons?
Yes.
Don't forget the Governor's Challenge.
Governor's Challenge. What the heck? That's insane. I think it's interesting how in programs we see coaches join. In the first season they join, it's not theirs yet. So they might have a record that has more losses than wins. Then the next season it becomes theirs, a few more wins, and it continues. The first season may not have been yours, in quotes, but then you win that championship. It wasn't gradual, it was sudden. Tell me about that journey. Tell me how you've made this program your own.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, to win championships in this game on any level, it takes a little bit of luck. I think that first year, we got extremely lucky. We did have some guys that played hard, and could do a lot of different things on the basketball floor. But we brought in 8 new guys coming in for that first year, so it was tough, to try to think that you're going to win a championship in the first year as a head coach. But God blessed us. We had some amazing families that trusted my vision for the program. And we came in and we were able to, take care of business and do it. And then, that next year I thought we would kind of really give ourselves a chance because a lot of those players came back. So, when you have multiple year guys, they kind of already know the culture. They understand the history of the program and, what you're trying to do. So, that worked out for us those first 2 years. And I'm just blessed, be able to give back to this game that it's given me so much.
You are in a basketball space that's different than Springbrook right there. You're in the private school space. Now, as much as I watch Twitter and Instagram, I can't catch it all. I've seen 24 players leave private schools and go somewhere else. That's the tough part. The continuity you just talked about, people buying in, there's Coach Kim up there, and coming back so they already know the program. How do you keep that? Because that's not easy because I won't name schools, and I do know some schools that are on my shit list. I will tell you that. I could call them out if I wanted to. But let's say you have your players, but school A or B is trying to poach those players. What is it that you're doing to hold on to your players and to keep that camaraderie, that culture, and all of that within your system?
Yeah, well, you have to, my philosophy is just building a relationship with the kids, building a relationship with the families, and just being genuine, being a genuine person that I am, not even just a basketball coach, but just being a genuine person, a human being. And then, the families buy into that. They see that. I do a very good job of communicating with them, being honest, no gray areas. Just being genuine allows me to be able to keep families and kids wanting to, obviously play for me. And now I will say, just like everybody, we lose kids, and kids do transfer. But at the end of the day, we still are able to get kids to come in because, again, like those things that I said, I build a relationship with the families, the kid, and then I really help develop them as basketball players and young men.
Because, and I don't want you to say it. I'll say it for anyone who wants to say it. Half the time the problem is the family. And I'm not going to say you have those problems. I don't know the program well enough to say that. And I certainly wouldn't say that on air if I did think it, which I don't. But we have a culture now where sometimes the parents, their eyes are bigger than the kid's skill set. I've seen a number of players transfer because they weren't getting the playing time. Well, maybe you're not a great practice player. Maybe, it depends. You could be a 4-star guard. You could be a 4-star guard last year at PVI. They didn't need any guards. You see what I'm saying? So you might not factor in. Parents really need to think about when you're transferring in. Now, you and I both know 6'10" is 6'10". They're going to find a spot for you.
Absolutely.
But if you're one of 6 guards on a team who has a decent jump shot, well, everybody has a decent jump shot. I just think a lot of parents believe that my baby is better than this, that, and the other. And, right. You got to be a cut above to be a Division I athlete.
Absolutely.
And the NIL, while I applaud it for what it has done for the right players at the right time, everybody ain't NIL worthy. They're just not. I've got 2 kids who are athletes who play very well. They don't have that Division I aspiration. You're talking about, you and I know the numbers. You start with a high school team, there's 1,000 high schools on the East Coast.
Absolutely.
Everybody who's playing Division I was number 1 on their team. And guess what? Hurley ain't looking for 15 new kids every year. They're making it tougher because why am I picking up a 17-year-old when I have a 22-year-old in the portal who's already played in the mid-major? It's tough.
Yep.
So your job becomes tough getting those kids into college. Your relationships are important that you have out there. And I guess right now I'm on a soapbox. I'm not really interviewing. But I've had my share of frustrating thoughts when it comes to AAU and all this, that, and the other. Some programs do it right. But I've also seen programs that charge $4,500 a season and your son plays 3 minutes a weekend, but you just spent $2,500 to go to Jacksonville.
You said it.
You see what I'm saying? Why am I paying $40 to see my son play? Chelsea, you better take over because I can go off here.
Very accurate. Very accurate.
It's getting tougher to play in college. But I saw you guys were in DMV Live. Why is that still important, even as these spots are becoming limited, even if it's, some people may say, watered down? Why are these live periods still important?
Well, it gives the kids an opportunity. It gives them an opportunity that they didn't get, usually in some certain instances. So it gives them an opportunity to play in front of college coaches. DMV Live is amazing. I mean, it's one of the best in the world, but it gives them an opportunity to really showcase themselves. And yes, the landscape of college basketball right now is like no other. But however, it gives them a chance to really showcase themselves and at least try to create an opportunity for themselves.
Why this summer league? Why are you here?
Well, I talk to Mark and I tell him this. And I tell everybody that'll listen. This is the number one summer league in the land.
It is.
And I say that because the quality of teams, but not only the quality of teams, just the quality of people that are involved. The media, like you guys. You don't go to any other summer league and see any DMV Hoops Podcast or all this media attention that they're getting. And what this does is it brings exposure to these young men in these programs. Like some people wouldn't know, what Southern Maryland Christian Academy was if it wasn't for, being in DMV Live or being in, Capital Hoops Summer League. So for these teams that I can speak for, I'm sure for the coaches, it's the exposure that they love. So we're just trying to just continue to build the recognition of SMCA and let everybody know that down in the South, Waldorf, there's basketball players. So check us out.
And to me, we've discussed this before, especially while talking about transferring. It used to be before Huddle, before all these different programs, if you don't go to a WCAC school, you won't be seen.
Not no more.
Now, if someone didn't know Southern Maryland Christian, you see them in a live period, and we interviewed him, so I'm thinking of Chase Purvis. You know who he is now. You have him on your radar. How has that changed from even when you were playing?
Yeah, so it did. So the NCAA making June, the scholastic month for high school was huge. It was huge because you would have live periods in AAU, but if you don't play on a top AAU team, you're really not gonna really get seen, especially playing, in an event that has 50 courts and you're on court 51.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you want to be able to play in these events because, and then the roles also change because some your AAU team, you might have 11 guys that are all, really, really good. But your high school, you might be the guy. So it gives you a chance to showcase the different roles with high school and then with the AAU team. So, I'll be honest, I wish we had DMV Live when I was in high school. I talk about this all the time with a lot of my, coaching buddies now who came up in the ranks playing the game in the area. And, man, we would have thrived. Because this is just the fact that you can play a game from 9 a.m. to 6 or 7 at night, and it'd be 250 coaches coming throughout the gym.
Hurley was here this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that, and that's insane. So I always tell the kids, create an opportunity for yourself. I can lead you to the water by putting you in DMV Live, by putting you in Capital Hoops, by putting you in Maryland Live, but you have to create the opportunity for yourself. And I think a few of our kids did that for themselves. They picked up some interest this year. We have a kid, a combo guard, 6'4", Jazier Thompson, who picked up some really good interest from some schools. Again, that's why we do it. That's why we do it. And I'm going to continue to put us in these type of events to showcase, Southern Maryland Christian Academy basketball.
Where did you go to high school?
I went to Friendly High School. So
you did not 10,000 Allentown Road Friendly High School.
I'm a class of 2006. Our 20-year reunion is this year.
Okay. I know Friendly High School. Yeah. I know Bach Road. I know Allentown Road.
Yes,
now.
Sir.
Come on now. And then you did. The card is here. I'm not gonna look at it though. UMass.
So I went to St. Bonaventure my first year.
Okay.
Up in Olean, New York. when I played for Mark Schmidt, who just retired from there after 20 years, 19 actually. And then I left there, transferred to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, where I got my degree and I graduated from playing under Frankie Allen.
All right. St. Bonaventure, that's also David Vanderpool, right?
Yep.
Vanderpool.
Bob Lanier.
Now, I came up with Vanderpool.
Yeah, okay.
I'm still a little bit older than him, but I came up. We're Blair High School people.
Got you. Okay. Sounds good.
Why should someone find themselves in your gym come December? What are they going to see?
Well, it's funny because I literally just talked to our guys about this the other day at workouts. Our identity. They should find themselves in our gym because with SMCA kids, you're going to know that they're going to compete, they're going to play hard, they're going to be athletic, they're going to be strong. So that alone should allow you to be able to say, you know what, let's go check those kids out. At least we know, whether they're skillful or not, they're going to compete, play with energy, play with togetherness. And we have a saying, dedication plus discipline equals success. And that's why I think, you should come down to Faith Baptist Church Road and come check out our guys.
I'm looking it up, Coach. That's 50 miles from my house now.
Yes,
Y'all
sir.
better show me something.
Absolutely, we surely will. And we make sure that you're used to certain accommodations, so we'll accommodate you coming out to Super Maryland is what we call it.
I don't want you to jip anybody, but give me some players that you want to highlight on your team.
Like I said, you're super happy and excited always to coach a kid like Jazier Thompson. He's going on his third year with us. He was second team all conference 2 years in a row, 15 a game, seven boards, 2 blocks, 3 steals. He does it all. Combo guard, really takes pride in being a two-way. Aaron Key is a kid that came back from us. He's been here since sophomore year too. 6'6", big body, screener, rebounder. As well as we have a kid named Aiden Pratt, he's transferring in from us. Really, shifty guard, can get to the rim, takes both sides of the ball, very serious. We're excited about, those 3 guys. Obviously, we pride ourselves on having, a team aspect. Every year I've coached, even when I was an assistant, we always had 4 guys in double figures. So that's just a testament that we move the ball, we share it, everybody gets a chance to, create and make decisions with the ball. So those are just 3 guys that I think that will be key guys for us, that I think that, they'll help us win games. With Thompson and Key, they've been a part of our program. So, they've been, they know what our culture is and, what our standard is.
Coach, I'm looking at your schedule from last year. You didn't take the easy route. Good Counsel, Annapolis area, Christian. I mean, there are a couple schools on there that we can figure on winning, but you got Clinton Grace twice. Clinton Grace is a super exciting team to watch. How you look, if you were coming into it and you can't sit on the bench, if you're going to give me the playbook, how do you deal with Lonnie Lyons? How do you deal with that kid?
Let's not.
Last year you had Jimenez, brother.
So I stand corrected. Clinton Grace is an amazing job. Coach Devin does a wonderful job with his program. I've seen kind of like what he's done to build that program up. However, they have 2 teams. So they have a regional team and a national team. Okay. So their regional team is in our conference. Now, there's no slight to those guys that play on the regional team. Okay. They beat us actually at their place.
I'm seeing that, yeah.
Yep, and we battled them, in the first game. We got them in the playoffs. But, even so, man, those kids play hard. And, his culture is being, treated and beaten in every day. So, if I was coaching against Lonnie, I love his game. I watch him. He's also a kid. A lot of people don't know is he's from Charles County as well.
I heard his family is super supportive in the school.
Absolutely, and he's a kid that I like to look at some kids from this era and see who can play like kind of like in my era, where it was. We strapping our boots up, no matter who, if you rank, it don't matter, we coming at you.
Right.
And he's one of those kids. He's one of those kids that I think could have definitely played in our era. just with his mentality. And so, you know, any chance I can get to support him, I will, and especially because he's a Super Maryland kid.
Looks like Tacoma Academy is the competition, and they're taking some steps forward now. What do you want Coach Creedle to know about his program? What do you think about them?
Yeah, well, I respect him.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Creedle was he's an OG in the game, and I respect him. But the fierce competitor in me, you know, I wouldn't show him respect if I didn't try to compete against him and beat him.
Right.
You know, so that's my way of showing him how much I respect him, is wanting to beat him. We haven't had, you know, a chance to do that yet. We battled though last year. We battled in our conference championship game. Yeah, in our conference championship game, they got us to win the conference. And you know, much respect to them and their program. But you know, they do a good job of representing our program and our conference, you know, everywhere they go. You know, like they won big time games in DMV Live. They won big time games in you know, this summer league. So, you know, much respect to them, because they also make our league look good.
But you're coming for them though,
yeah,
as best you can.
I mean, yeah, man. You know, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be me if I wasn't. You know, I'm coming for any team, man, that's in, you know, that doesn't have SMCL in their chest. You know, because that's just the fierce competitor in me, and I just took that same approach that I took as a player, you know, in my sneakers. Now, you know, I do that same thing with a polo on.
All right. You playing any men's leagues? You still getting some birds?
Nah, man. You know, I half court stuff, but my cardio is all
he's
off,
not even
man.
40 yet.
I know,
come
man.
on, man.
I know, man. But when, you know, you know how it is, man. When it takes you, you know, forever to get in shape, but 2 days you can get out of shape. So, you know, nah, man. I'm living through the kids now, man. You know, just coaching them up.
All right. Well, we're going to keep it moving. Let me ask you one last question. And by the way, I have seen Lonnie Lyons fly. That boy can fly.
Yes,
I mean, he really can.
Absolutely.
One of my best quotes this summer was, "I just seen a man fly." It was right here on this court. What else do you want them to know, our listeners, about your program?
Well, I mean, like, again, we're right in Waldorf, Maryland. You know, like I said, you know, coaches or anybody that's, you know, intrigued about coming to watch SMCA, you know, we're going to be athletic. We're going to be, you know, tough. We're going to play with energy and effort. But however, we're a family-oriented, you know, organization and program. And, you know, it's all family and love. So, you know, if you're out in the Super Maryland area, stop on by and come on and check us out.
Do we have a snack bar over there?
Oh, man, you got a snack bar. Look, we take pride in our concessions. So,
Tell me about it.
Hamburgers, hot dogs, fish, you know, French fries, you know, fresh off the press.
No.
Oh, yeah. Listen, you come out, man. I know you used to certain accommodations, so we're going to take care of you down the Super Maryland.
I need to see that 26-27 schedule, and we need to get someone. He got burgers and fries. That's all I need to hear.
Absolutely. We'll get you situated, man. Come on down.
Well, we would love to bring the podcast down there, broadcast from down there, get some of your players on the podcast.
Sure.
It's easy, and this is no slight to any podcast we've done, but it's easy to get the WCAC schools, the MAC schools, the IAC schools.
Sure.
Hell, my son's at an IAC school. She graduated from an ISL school. I can get all those interviews. But we haven't done enough for two things, for Southern Maryland and for the girls' game. So we need to get down to SMCA at some point so we can show them some love.
Yep.
You know, and maybe they'll show us the love back if we do them right.
We certainly will. And I'll say this, and you know, I'm not sure how many people have said this on this platform, but as coaches, we always want to showcase and bring exposure to our young men. So and I'm huge on giving flowers while people get to smell them. So thank you to you guys, because at the end of the day, you know, you guys allow. You know, I don't think you understand what you're doing. You give these kids exposure, but you also allow them public speaking. Because nowadays, a lot of them are in their phone texting, their thumbs work, but their voices don't, right? So, like, you guys give them a chance to get on this podcast, talk, you know, express themselves. And, you know, so if you don't hear it from anybody, you know, Coach Pop, all love, thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
And we, you know, down in Southern Maryland and Super Maryland, we appreciate you.
Thank you. Coach Pop, Southern, got a hurt youngin' out there. Southern Maryland Christian Academy. We'll make it to that gym as long as there's a burger waiting for me, Coach.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you soon, y'all.
Thanks for tuning in to the DMV Hoops Podcast. your home for high school basketball coverage across the DMV. Be sure to subscribe, follow, and share the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, YouTube, Buzzsprout, and everywhere podcasts are heard. Follow us on Instagram and X at DMV Hoops Podcast. The DMV Hoops Podcast is hosted by Kurt Cross, featuring Chelsea Cross. Thanks for listening.